Swiflearn online classes. As you already know that Swiflearn is the India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. Over here, all the classes are 100% live and interactive classes. If you have any sort of doubt, you can ask to the teacher in the classes only, and the teacher will explain everything in the classes, right? Secondly, we give personalized attention to each and every student because in our batches there are maximum 6 students. ये ऐसे हो सकता है कि हमारे बैच में 1 student 1:1 बैच हो या फिर 2:1 बैच हो या फिर maximum 6 students will be there which will help you to ask any sort of doubt if you have in your mind to the teacher, and the teacher will clear everything, all the doubts, all the concepts in the classes only, and the teacher will also keep an eye on you how you are progressing, and accordingly you will get the help from the teacher so that you can improve yourself, right? Hi Madhuri, how are you? Coming to the third thing, that is we have a very good dedicated academic mentor team who continuously track how you are progressing, how you are doing in the homework, classwork, everything, and you will finally get to know what is your feedback from us, and this feedback will definitely help you to improve yourself, right? And coming to the fourth thing, that is very very important, that we cover the syllabus as per your school examination schedule. Whatever topic is there in your school examination, in your half yearly or final or your like class test, you can tell it to us. We will do those topics first and then we will move on to the rest of the topic, right? So this type of custom request generally we handle. Apart from this, we have a lot of doubt classes, revision classes and all. So whenever you need help from us, we are always there for you, right? Coming to the key features of Swiflearn, why do you think the Swiflearn is different from any other online platform? So first of all, we maintain a detailed progress report of each and every student. जैसे आपके स्कूल में भी प्रोग्रेस रिपोर्ट आपको मिलते हैं, उधर भी पीटीएम होता है, तो सिमिलरली वी आल्सो हैव द पीटीएम. द पेरेंट कैन आस्क or get the feedback from us directly, and they can also ask if they have any doubt directly to us. So we will meet and there will be the main focus of all this thing is your improvement, right? So we maintain this progress report. You will get it in a certain interval, like in all every alternate months. Then secondly, we have the SAT, that is the Swiflearn academic test series, which happen in every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can perform over there and you can get the scholarship over there after getting your rank. So your rank and the name will be displayed on our leaderboard. Coming to the third and the fourth thing, that is we have a very unlimited practice test. So after completing each and every topic, what you have to do is you have to practice the question answers, right? So while practicing the question answer, basically you will get the 100% total concept of that topic. And we also have the subjective as well as the objective test. You can practice over there, write down the question answer, submit it, and we also have a very good group of teacher who will check your answer and give you the feedback where to include any key points, how to write the answer. Mainly this is very much important when you are writing any subjective answers, right? Like 3 marks or 5 marks का answer में कहाँ key point sometimes you just miss it out, and that is why you don't get the full marks, right? So this will basically help you to get the full marks when you are giving the answers in a complete manner. You will include your diagram, chemical equation, graph, and so on. It based upon the different topics and the different subjects. So we will always guide you how to write the answer and get the full marks, right? Chalo. So to experience all these things, what you have to do? You have to book the trial class. So all the trial class over here are free of cost. Book it anytime whenever you are free. Experience our classes and then enroll your name in our regular batches so that we can meet in regular intervals. We will discuss a lot about the different types of topics so that your concepts will be totally clear. Now let's move on to the topic. Before that, let me remind you, whoever has not subscribed our channel, please subscribe it and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions. And do not forget to like, comment and share also. Chalo, so let's start with today's topic. Today we are going to start with a new topic. This is the very first session of the reproductive system which you have in class 10th syllabus of ICSE board. So you are in the board syllabus, class. So this is very very important for you. You will get a lot of different objectives as well as the subjective questions from this chapter. This is a very important chapter. Hi Anushka, I'm good beta, how are you? So, yes, let's start with the reproductive system. Today, you already have an idea. You have already studied about the reproductive system in human being, plants, and all any other animals in class 8th, right? Yes. So, let's see what we are going to discuss in today's session. Today, we will study about what is reproduction basically, what is the main thing which happen in reproduction, the different types of reproduction, the two main types, basically the sexual and the asexual type of reproduction. Then we will mainly focus on the reproduction in human being. Okay, this is the main focus of this chapter, the reproduction in human being. And in today's session, we will focus on the male reproductive system only. Okay, and we will study about the female reproductive system in the next session. So today we will mainly study about the male reproductive system. What are the different parts of that reproductive system? What are the functions of the different parts? These are our main concern for today's session, right? So what do you think? What is the reproduction? It is basically a very important life process, we can say, but it is not that much important that without reproduction nobody will be able to survive, right? We can survive without a process of reproduction, but this is essential for the continuation of the life on earth. If there is no reproduction, then if it take place or happen for a long period of time, generation after generation, so what will happen? Basically, the total suspension, the total species will become extinct, right? So to continue the species on earth, whether it is the human species or any other animal species, reproduction is the main process which will help us to maintain the race of certain individual or certain species, right? Hi Jasmine, how are you? So you can see that the reproduction is the process which will help you to give birth to the young one. This is the main process, right? Now these are the different types of question. When we are in the young ages, it comes to our mind that I'm going to have a sister or a brother. I wonder where he will come from, like just a stock, like sometimes we see the cartoons and we see over there in the television that the stocks are carrying the brother or a sister, a small baby, and it is delivering to our houses. So is it true that by this process basically the reproduction or only the babies come to our house, or it is something different which we already don't know, or some biological process is involved in making these babies? Yes. So definitely some biological parts are there within our body which will help in the process of reproduction. So what is basically this reproduction? It is the formation of the new individual by sexual or asexual means, so which can help in the repetition of their own turn. The process will be repeated so that the species will be totally maintained within our universe, right? So there are many simpler organisms like bacteria, yeast, hydra and all, spirogyra and all, which show the asexual method of reproduction, which is very simple method. And human being basically reproduce sexually, which is a complicated type of the reproduction. Okay, so let us see what are the sexual and the asexual type of reproduction. Sexual reproduction is very simple. It is just one parent is needed, and the main one parent body just it will divide to give the birth of the two individual, right? Hi beta, yes, respiration in human, respiration in plant is, I think it's already done. You can get it in our library. Okay, and if it is not done, we will definitely teach this respiration in plants of class 9th ICSE syllabus. Okay, beta? Okay, chalo. So let's again go back to the reproduction, a sexual reproduction. So you can see it's a very simple process. Only the genetic duplication will be there. The genes will be duplicated, and finally the genes will go to the two individuals when they will be separated from their mother's body. It is that simple as that. But if you think about the sexual reproduction, over here two individuals are needed. One is mother, one is father, right? So two individual will be one male, one female, and after that they will have to produce the gametes. Gametes are nothing but the reproductive cells, and then after the formation of the gametes should meet. yes, with each other, and they will fuse with each other, which is known as the fertilization. And after the fertilization, zygote will be formed. After the continuous cell division of those zygote, they will form the embryo. Finally the differentiation will be there, and all the different complicated structure of the body organs will take place, and finally it will take birth, right? So this is that much complicated process of reproduction, that is the sexual reproduction. So our main focus of today's session will be the different parts of the human body, the human reproductive system, which will help in this process of sexual reproduction. So basically, let us see what is the asexual type of reproduction. You have already studied it, so let us just revise it. So asexual reproduction basically is a mode of reproduction where only one parent is needed. Yes, only one mother parent is needed, which will give rise to the new individual, and the new individual which will be produced will be exactly the Xerox copy of the mother. Okay, the physically, genetically, they will be totally the Xerox copy, or we can say identical to with each other. Okay, so let us see some of the examples of that. First, we have already studied about the binary fission of amoeba in class 8. So what happened over here, just see, this is the mother amoeba. So they have a proper one cell, because it is the unicellular organism having the cytoplasm, all the different cellular organelles, and the main thing is the nucleus, because within the nucleus we know that the genetic materials are present. Now when the pseudopodia will be pooled, what will happen, the nucleus will start dividing, and finally the two nucleus will be formed having the similar copy of the genetic material, and that is why they are totally similar in their genetic way. Okay, so genetically they are totally similar, and finally what will happen, the nucleus will be divided, that is we call it as the karyokinesis, and then after the division of the two nucleus, the cytoplasm will also start dividing, and it will give rise to the two daughter amoeba, right? So this is known as the cytokinesis. So first the karyokinesis will take place, that is the division of the nucleus, and then cytokinesis will take place, that is the division of the cytoplasm. So this is how the parent, from one parent amoeba, we can see that the two daughter amoeba is arising, and this is a very simple process of reproduction. This is known as the binary fission. Binary क्यों, क्योंकि अभी दो daughter cells और दो daughter individuals are producing. ठीक है? Yes. Let's see about another type of asexual reproduction, that is the budding. We have already studied about the budding. It takes place in animals as well as the plant. So if you think about the plant, so we can see the budding in yeast. It is yeast is also the unicellular cell, and if you think about the budding in animal, we can see the hydra, right? So hydra comes under the nidaria, and this is a multicellular organism. So you can see this is the mother cell, and from the mother cell a very small bulb like thing is coming out, bud like thing. So it will come out and it will grow and grow due to the cell division, and finally when it will be totally matured enough, it will detach from the mother's body, and finally it will grow into a new individual, like you can see. So while detaching, before detaching, basically they are getting all the genetic characteristics features from their mother, and that is why they are totally the Xerox copy of the mother individual. And this is the process of budding, another type of asexual reproduction. Can anybody tell me any other type of asexual reproduction which you have already studied in class 8 other than this binary fission and budding? Yes, quickly tell me in the chat box, and let's move on to the sexual reproduction now. So sexual reproduction is the reproduction where there are two individuals which are needed. One will be the father and another will be the mother. Okay, so one female and one male is needed. So they will produce the gametes, or we can call them as the sex cells, or we can also call it as the reproductive cells. The female gamete is the ovum or the egg, and the male gamete is the sperm in case of the human being or any other animals, right? So we already know that how many number of chromosomes are present in our body cells. Basically, we have two sets of chromosome, which is 46 in number, or we can also call it as the 23 pairs. But if we think about the gamete will be only one set of chromosome, which is not 23 pairs, only 23. Okay, so the egg will have the 23 chromosome, and the sperm, that is the male gamete, will also have the 23 chromosome. Now what will happen, these two gametes will fuse with each other, that is known as the fertilization process, and after fusing they will form the zygote, and the zygote will get again the 46 chromosomes. So 23 from mother and 23 from father, just add up, I think you will get 46, right? Yes, so this is the very first cell of the new individual. This is a single cell only. Okay, there is a misconception. Sometimes you get that zygote is a single cell or a multiple cell. No, it is not the multiple cell or the cluster of cell. It is only one cell, and then the zygote will continuously divide, and they will form the embryo, which will be a cluster of cell, we can say, or multicellular. Okay, now this embryo, when they will develop within the mother's womb, it will take like 280 days approximately, which the total stage we call it as the gestation period. You already know this, where the total development of all the organs of the body will take place, like the brain, the spinal cord, the total like eyes, ears, hand, leg, and everything, and finally it will mature to give a structure of a human being. And after this total gestation period, it will come out from the body of the mother, and that is the birth of the child, right? This is how the reproduction takes place sexually. Yes. Okay, Jasmine, thank you. Great. Chalo. So let's now begin with the sexual reproduction and the sexual reproductions difference. So as you have already understood by now, what are the differences between asexual and the sexual reproduction? First of all, asexual reproduction में genetic variation नहीं होता, क्योंकि only one parent is needed, and the parent, whatever chromosome they have, whatever genetic material they have, they just copy it and give it to the next individual, new individual. तो उधर genetic mixing भी नहीं होगा, variation भी नहीं होगा, and exact xerox copy of the genetic material will be there. But in case of the sexual reproduction, definitely genetic mixing hoga, because 23 chromosome is coming from father and 23 chromosome is coming from the mother. So it will mix up and form the zygote. So here variation will be formed. This is very important part. असेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में गैमेट फॉर्मेशन नहीं होता, जरूरत ही नहीं है, क्योंकि एक ही तो इंडिविजुअल है. इट विल जस्ट गिव राइज टू द न्यू बेबी इन अ वेरी सिंपल वे. बट gamete formation is definitely takes place in case of the sexual reproduction. Along after the gamete formation, fertilization is also very important. Asexual reproduction may normally many offsprings can be born in one time. More offsprings can be formed. But in case of sexual reproduction, as it is very complicated process, few offsprings are formed. Next, only one parent is involved, ये तो आपको पता ही है, और two parents involved in case of the sexual reproduction, one male, one female, and favorable rapid. It is a very rapid process during the favorable condition, but in sexual reproduction is basically a slower process, and it will take some time to give birth to the young one. Okay. So these are basically the differences between the sexual as well as asexual reproduction. So up to this much, I guess everything is clear. Any doubt? Anybody? You can write it in the chat box. I'm always there to help you out. Yes. Okay. So let's move on to the portion of reproduction in human being, right? So human being में reproduction अगर हम पढ़ेंगे तो before going to hi Anubrato, yes. So before going to the total reproduction कैसे होता है and all of that, we need to understand the reproductive system of male and female, right? So First of all, if we think about the general reproductive system, whether it is female or male, we will get the two main parts. One will be the primary part, second one will be the accessory part. The primary part क्या है? Which will help in the formation of the gamete, जहाँ main sex or sex cells or the reproductive cells will be formed and directly वो sexual reproduction में help करते हैं. That is the primary reproductive part. And accessory reproductive part will be all the other different parts which are associated with the total reproduction process, but it is not directly that will give rise to the gametes and all. It will just act as a passageway or help in the formation, like the process of fertilization or implantation of the baby and so on. ये process में help करता है, but directly it will not form any type of specialized gametes, right? Chalo. So let's see. You already know the primary reproductive parts in case of the male is the testis. Okay, this is the male gonad, and in case of the female is the ovary. So there are two testes and two ovary in male and female respectively. So these are the two main organs from where the gametes are formed. Gametes matlab the sex cells or the reproductive cells. So in case of the male, the reproductive cell will be the sperm, as we already know that. And in case of the ovary will produce the eggs, or we can also call it as the ovum. Okay, so these are the two gametes which will be formed in the primary reproductive part. Let's move on to the accessory reproductive part. These are all the different structures which are basically helping in transferring the ovum and sperm and meeting of the two and fertilization, growth and development and so on, giving rise to the baby, giving birth to the baby. So all the accessory structures which are associated with the reproductive system, if you just see the structure over here, it is showing the female reproductive system. So ovary is the primary structure because the ovum is produced within the ovary. Now after that you can see the funnel shaped structure from where the fallopian tube is starting. After the fallopian tube you can see over here the uterus. After the uterus you can see the cervix, the vagina, that is the birth canal. So all this structure will come under the accessory reproductive parts because they actually give them the passageway, help in the like the pathway where the fertilization will happen in the uterus, the implantation will take place, the growth of the total baby or the, within the womb will take place and so on, but they directly not giving any birth to the new type of cell which will help in the process of reproduction. Got it now? So that is why we will call these parts as the accessory reproductive part, right? Let's move on to the male reproductive system, which is our main focus of discussion in today's session. So over here we can also call the male reproductive system also have the two different types of organs, that is a primary. So can anybody tell me in the chat box which one will be the primary reproductive part of the male reproductive system? We have already discussed this. So whoever will give me most of the answers correctly, as you already know that you will be the student of the session, and I'll write your name on the screen at the end of the session. Let me see who already have understood what is the primary reproductive part of the male reproductive system and what are the accessory reproductive part of the male reproductive system among all these parts. So hints are already there in front of you. So let's see what are the components of this male reproductive system. Testis, sperm ducts, which we also call it as the vas deferens. Then accessory glands are there. There are three main accessory glands, that is seminal vesicle, Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland, and third one is the prostate gland. Okay. Then penis and the urethra. Okay, so basically urethra will come under the excretory system, but we can also call in case of male reproductive system the passageway of the sperm, giving out of the sperm from the body and throwing out of the urine is same, that is the urethra. So we can consider this urethra under the male reproductive system. Okay. But we will not consider this urethra under female reproductive system because that is totally different. The pathway is different. So which one is the primary? Yeah, I've not got the answer. The primary part in case of the male reproductive system is testis. Okay, so only the testis will be the primary part because this produce the sperms. That is the gamete, male gamete. And all the others, you can see the vas deferens, the accessory glands, penis, urethra, these will all come under the accessory part of the male reproductive system. Got it? Yes. So this is the main system, male reproductive system, I guess. Uh, if you compare these two structures, then this is the side view and this is the frontal view of the male reproductive system. So this diagram is very, very important for you. So the diagram can come in your examination. So please practice the diagram. I think this diagram will be easier for you to draw, right, rather than the side one. Yes, so you can draw this diagram. Let us see what are basically included over here. The testicles, or we can say the testis. How many testes are there? 1 and 2. Then this portion where there is a very complicated network like structure where temporarily the sperms are stored and the maturation of the sperms will take place so that they can move properly. So this portion is known as epididymis. Finally, the sperm will move up through the vas deferens. We can also call it as the ductus deferens. After going, it will get the different types of secretion from the three main types of accessory glands. They are, number 1 is seminal vesicle, number 2 is Cowper's gland or bulbourethral gland. This gland is also known as the Cowper's gland. Okay, please write it down. And the third one is the prostate gland. Okay, so these are the three accessory glands, this one, and this one, from which they will get the different lubricants so that they can move properly. Finally, it will enter into this pipe which is known as the urethra, and it through the urethral opening it will move out of the body. And this whole structure along with the urethra and the muscles which are associated within there, the blood vessel, whatever is supplied over here, this structure is known as the penis. Okay, up to this much clear here? Yes. So this is all about the male reproductive system. Let us see what are the main structure and what are the main function of all the different parts. First is the testis. So testis, T-I-S is the singular word. Sometimes you will get as T-E-S, T-E-S. This is nothing but the plural word. Okay, as we are like the human being have two testes, so that is why we can also call, we generally call it as the testes, that is the plural word. Now, these two testes are present within the skin-like structure, a sac-like structure which is made up of skin, which is known as the scrotum. So, you can see this is the total scrotum. This is the sac-like structure within which the testes are present. Okay. Okay, Jasmine, no issue. In the embryonic stage, the testes are contained within the abdomen, but due to the maturity and just shortly before the birth, the scrotum will descend from the abdominal region and the testis will come in the just outside the abdominal region. Now, why do you think this development of the testis within the scrotum is very, very important? Because the main function of the testis is to produce sperms. That is the male reproductive cell, right? Or we can say the male gamete. So, they need a proper temperature for the production of the sperm, and this proper temperature is 2 to 3 degree lesser than that of our normal body temperature. हमारे normal body temperature क्या है? 37 degrees centigrade, right? So the temperature which is favorable for the formation of the sperm is somewhat like 32 to 33 degrees centigrade, like this. Okay, 33 to 35 degrees centigrade, I'm very sorry. So this is this temperature which is possible within the scrotum, and that is why the testis is descended within the scrotum for the formation of the sperm. And that is why this descending of the testis with the scrotum outside the abdominal cavity is very, very important. Clear hai? Let's move on to the longitudinal section of the testis. If you just cut a longitudinal section, if you see, then you will be able to see the different tissues over here. The two main things, you can see the tube-like structures which are known as the seminiferous tubule. This is the main structure where spermatogenesis takes place. Spermatogenesis is nothing but the formation of the sperm. Spermatogenesis is the process of formation of the sperm which takes place within the seminiferous tubule. And the second structure in between the seminiferous tubule, there is a packed tissue. These tissues are known as the interstitial cells of Leydig. There is a special type of cell which produce the male hormone, that is the testosterone. Okay, so we already know that the sperm is also forming inside the testis. Testosterone, the male hormone, is also forming within the testis. So this should be clear to you that testosterone is formed within the interstitial cells of Leydig, or we can also call it as the Leydig cell. And seminiferous tubule, this tubule will help in the formation of the sperms. Now after the formation of the sperm will enter into the network of tube. Finally, 12 to 14 ducts arise from together into the epididymis, and within the epididymis, that is a 6-meter long structure where the total maturation of the sperm will take place. It will be matured enough so that it can move from one place to another. The sperms will be stored over there for some times temporarily, and finally it will move out of it through the vas deferens. Yes, now let's move on to the vas deferens. So sperms are produced and it has been stored temporarily. Now it will move through the vas deferens, which we also call it as the sperm duct. So sperm duct arises from each of the testes, and they will go upward towards the abdominal passage through the inguinal canal. This canal is very important. Inguinal canal basically allow the descent of the testes along with their ducts, the different nerves, blood vessels, and so on, so that it will also get the proper amount of oxygen and all the different nutrients properly, right? So the two sperm ducts loop over, you can see over here, here is the ureters which are present coming from the excretory structure, and they join the urethra at the back of the urinary bladder. So this is the urinary bladder. At the back of the urinary bladder, this vas deferens is joining. Clear up to this much? Now let me give you a very common type of disease which sometimes you can see or you can hear that somebody is suffering from hernia. So what do you mean by hernia? It is basically due to the huge pressure sometimes which occur on the abdominal region. The intestine bulge into the scrotum through that inguinal canal, and this causes the common type of hernia. Okay, this is the abdominal hernia. So now let's move on to the sperm has already come through the vas deferens. Then they will have to go through the urethra, right? So there are the three main accessory glands which will help them to move properly. They are nothing but the seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and the bulbourethral gland. So what are these? What are the functions of all these three? See, this is the seminal vesicles, 2 in number, or we can say one pair of seminal vesicles are present, which are just present just behind the urinary bladder. So you can see this is the urinary bladder and this is the seminal vesicle present behind it. Okay, they have the duct which will just join. See, they are joining into the urethra, and the main function of this is it acts as a medium for the transportation of the sperm. This is the main function of seminal vesicle. Second is the prostate gland. It is a bilobe structure, the total structure where the just beneath the urinary bladder we can see these are the two lobes of the prostate gland. They pour some alkaline secretion through the semen so that what will happen, it can neutralize the acid of the female vagina. Okay. Now, if there is any defect or infection happens in case of the prostate gland, so what will happen? The prostate gland will be enlarged like this, and this condition is known as prostatitis. Got it? Chalo. Let's move on to the third type of gland, that is the bulbourethral gland. You can see this is the seminal vesicle, this is the prostate gland, and the very small glands, these are the two bulbourethral glands are there, which are also known as the corpus gland. They serves as a lubricant. They just secrete one type of lubricant so that the very smoothly the sperm can move through the total urethra. Okay. Now, the total mixture of the sperms and the secretion which are coming out from these three accessory glands, that is the seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and the bulbourethral gland, they together form the mixture which is known as the semen. Okay. Next is the last structure through which the semen and the urine which go out of the body, that is the penis. You can see over here there is the erectile tissues are there, vascular spaces are there, and the blood flow continuously takes place under the influence of the sexual stimulation. The blood flow in large amount into the penis, and it enters into the vascular spaces which will help it to become erect. So the expansion of these spaces, you can see this is the whole penis. The expansion of these spaces compresses the veins, and thus the blood cannot drain it out, and this condition is known as the erection. So the total detail of the structure and the nerve and the arteries is basically you don't have it in the syllabus. So just see the different nerves. The deep dorsal nerve is present, the dorsal arteries and nerves, veins. You can see this is the deep dorsal vein. I'm very sorry. The dorsal nerves are present, dorsal arteries are present, so they help to basically give the oxygen, the nutrients towards the muscles over there. Yes. So this is the total course of the sperm in the male reproductive structure. This you have to remember properly, that is, it is produced within the seminiferous tubules, then it moves through the network of the tubule, then efferent ducts, then it moves to the epididymis, the upper portion, middle portion, and the last tail portion of the epididymis. Then it will move into the sperm duct, that is the vas deferens, and finally it will enter into the urethra, through which it can go out of the male body. Right. So this is all about today's session, the male reproductive system, which we have discussed in today's session. Let's now discuss some of the question answers. So this type of questions you can get in your board exam. So let us discuss. See, the main course you have to write in a logical sequence the correct order of the different terms which are given over here, like the sperm duct, penis, then testis, sperms, and the semen. So first of all, we know that the sperms are secreted in the testis. So first this testis will come, then secretion of the sperm, then it will go into the sperm duct, it will become the semen with the mixture of the different lubricants and the different like secretions of the accessory glands, and finally it will go out through the penis. Next question is the part of the body in which the testes are present in the human male. What will be the part of the body? It is the scrotum, the sac-like structure within which the testes are present. And the second question, the part of the testes where the sperms are produced. We already know the tubules which are known as the seminiferous tubules where the sperms are produced, right? Next word is semen. It is nothing but the mixture of all the sperms which are produced along with the secretion of the three main accessory glands, that is the seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and the corpus gland. Next, you can get this question for 1 mark, like what do you mean by inguinal canal? So it is the canal which allows the descent of the testis along with the different ducts, nerves, blood vessels into the abdomen. Okay. Next, what is the accessory reproductive organs? We already know the accessory reproductive organs are those structure which are not actually giving rise to the sex cells, but they help in the fertilization process, growth and development process of the egg or the sperms, or the total development of the baby also. Yes, like the fallopian tubes, penis in case of male, the different accessory glands, the uterus, right? These are the different accessory reproductive organs. So let's see what we have already studied in today's session. Let's sum up. First of all, we have studied about the reproduction, the two main types of reproduction, sexual and asexual. Asexual reproduction may we have just gone through the budding and binary fission, and sexual reproduction may we have mainly studied about the male reproductive structure. The male reproductive structure contains the testes, like the vas deferens or the sperm duct, accessory glands, penis, and the urethra. And within the testes, the formation of the sperms and the passage of sperms, as well as the formation of the testosterone in the Leydig cells. We have already discussed this, right? I hope all of you have already understood whatever we have discussed in today's session. Yes, so thank you very much for staying with us till the end of the session. And if you have any doubt, you can definitely ask me in the chat box. So we will again meet in the next session. We will discuss about the female reproductive system over there. And thank you very much. Let me remind you, whoever has not subscribed our channel, please subscribe it and press the bell icon so that you will never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions. And also do not forget to like, comment and share. Right? So thank you very much. We will again meet in the next session. So till then, bye bye. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy.